Hello, beautiful ladies. Welcome to Tap In with TK. My name is TK. And I am super excited for today's video. Y'all, I have just been in a flow of creativity and I'm super excited for this video. First and foremost, before we jump into the gems, if you are here for the first time, we talk all things under the umbrella of being a God-fearing woman, specifically nurturing our godly femininity and propelling into kingdom marriages. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. I drop a Tap In with TK every single Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. I especially want to invite you all to join the live conversations in the chat so we can kiki, have a cute little time together. I would so appreciate that. If this is not your first time watching and you are one of the fellow ladies of light, or you're a sister that's been here before, welcome back. I'm super excited that you decided to vibe with your girl yet again. Y'all, I am excited every video because I just know that these videos are from God. I can't make them up. I literally have a folder of topics that I just pull out and I record. The videos that God gives me, from the titles to what I'm sharing within the video, it's clearly from the Lord. So today, I want to talk about 5 ways I personally supported my husband's growth and did not create him. I do believe that every woman has the ability to nurture anything, from a baby to their family, their home. We know how to encourage the development and the growth of a person or a thing. But I do believe sometimes we can push the envelope and try to create a man and not actually nurture him. So I want to personally share some of the things that I've personally done in my marriage. If you don't know, I have been with my husband this August. It'll be 10 years. I got with him when I was 21 and I am 31 now. And it's just so insane to be like, I'm really kind of, I'm a little OG in the game a little bit. And I'm still so young and fresh and vibrant. And so I'm always excited to share these gems because I pray for every newlywed single woman that you can get to where I'm at now much quicker. And you do that with mentors, because I am a firm believer that mentors give you speed. All right, let's get right into it. I got my notes, y'all, as usual, because y'all know I don't want to play no games. Number 1, right out the gate, I actually picked a God-fearing man who wanted to grow. There should be evidence in the man that you are dating that is already complementing the man that you see in your heart and in your mind for him. Meaning, if you are dating a man, he should already be at a church, in community with other believers, in a men's program. He should already have the evidence that he desires to be more than where he is. I do not recommend dating a man that is not saved. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you've been rocking with the Lord for some years, I don't even recommend dating a man that is newly saved. And I'll say this: if you want a leader, right out the gate, if you desire for a man to lead you spiritually, emotionally, financially, I just don't recommend it. If you want to date a man that you know once you get married, he'll have those leadership qualities, you want to look for that while you are already dating. You want to see the evidence of that now. Like I said, being in community, he should know the importance of gathering with other believers. He should know the importance of mentors. He should know these things, right? And there should be evidence of him being involved in it. Because let me tell you what is all involved with being a member at a church or being a part of a male's ministry. Being in community means possibly and hopefully someone knows his business, and someone is holding him accountable, and someone is correcting him, and someone is guiding him, and someone is praying for him, and someone is covering him. You want him to be going through sanctification process before you, not with you, so that he is already hyper aware of the things that he's dealing with, but he's also pressed past some things. And so you want to have the evidence of him being surrounded, because most likely with him being surrounded, he's been held accountable and he's been corrected. You do not want a reckless man that don't know nothing about these things. I mean, if you want a leader, I'll say. Also included in this, when I say I chose a man that was a God-fearing man and was already doing his thing, he also had a vision before me. So when I came into his life and I started dating him at 21, he already knew what he desired, not only in his wife to be, but also in his home and in his finances, in his business. And so when I started dating my husband, I was able to clearly see my myself not only in this vision with him, but how I could help it grow. You don't want to give a man a vision, right? You want a man to have a vision because it anchors him. It's what drives him. It's the force that pushes him and gets him up every day to stay at it, to be committed, to be faithful. You want him to have these attributes if you want a God-fearing man. I keep saying that, and I probably should have put that somehow in the title because I know this is not for every woman. Some women have the patience to go through all those things. And don't get me wrong, my husband didn't come arrive, but I want to be very clear. My husband was absolutely everything that I would have wanted a man to be, period. He just has gotten much better. And I just have been able to see his growth. But at the core of who he was, I didn't have to build him. I didn't have to teach him anything. He was already being taught by elders, by pastors, and by mentors. So you want someone, if you are a woman that desires to know where you're going, you desire to be safe, you desire to feel safe, you might want to pay attention to a man with a vision, asking him, hey, what is your 5-year plan? Asking him, what's one of your biggest goals that you've reached so far, right? What have you done so far? Tell me what you've been working at. If you hear that he's jumping from job to job, can't stay anywhere, he's hopping from city to city, if stability is something that's big to you, these are red flags you want to pay attention to. So don't get a man that you already know you're going to have to teach him his vision, teach him who God is, because you're no longer nurturing his potential. You are creating him. The second way that I was able to support his growth, but not create him, I observed, but I did not overstep. So I observed where he was at, where he was trying to go, and then I filled in those gaps. I didn't overstep. I didn't take charge. This is what you need to do. That is what you need to do. I remember he came home one day and he was like, yeah, they're wanting me to apply to be a manager of this location. I could tell that this was something he desired to do, but there was a little bit of fear. There was a little bit of hesitation because he hadn't did it before. I'm like, of course you can. And let me give you all the reasons why you can manage this business. Well, first and foremost, are full of integrity. So that's probably going to be one of the first times they see someone operate in high integrity. You are a man of God. So you're going to bring a spirit and an essence in that room that is needed, which is joy. You care for people. So you're not just going to manage them. You're going to also nurture them into being leaders, those that desire it. So I'm just listing out all of these ways why he absolutely should be a manager. I didn't tell him to be a manager. He shared with me his desires, and then I nurtured that desire, which encouraged the growth, and he became that. So there's a fine line between making a man be something that he never presented to you that he wanted to be, and then watching and observing and hearing and discerning who he's expressing he wants to be, or what he's expressing he wants to do, and then nurturing that. Encourage the development of the seed. Don't create the seed. Now, what I mean by this is, don't get me wrong, there are going to be some times where you see certain things that your husband just might not see. But even with that, there is still a step to take before you tell him, hey, you need to do this, which is prayer. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I am a firm believer in letting a man grow and talk some things through. This is why we don't need to be over talking and talking every conversation. Listen, because sometimes even when you are listening to your husband and he's expressing in his day, or, just the other day, my husband was sitting on the couch and I asked him a question that ended up in a really deep conversation. And I could tell he really wanted me to hear him, but I didn't just hear what he was saying. I was hearing what he wasn't saying as well. So now I didn't even tell him what I heard in my spirit. I went to God in prayer. Hey, God, pull that desire out of him so he can communicate that to me. So now I can nurture that. But I don't tell him what he is or what he should do. I let him tell me. And if he doesn't even know, I let the Lord tell him to then tell me, and then I nurture it. There's a fine line between letting him tell you who he wants, nurturing it, and you telling him what he wants and making him. Which leads me to the third point of how I encouraged and nurtured my husband's growth. I interceded. When I tell you, my husband can tell you night and day, his head and his feet and his body was oiled up with anointing oil. I do not play about covering my man in prayer. I don't play about speaking life over him. I don't play about him and how he speaks over himself. But back to prayer, the power of prayer. So many of us talk so much at our husbands, but if you decided to take all that energy that you're talking to him, telling him you should do this and do this and do this, take it to God in prayer. There have been so many things that I have prayed over my husband, and my husband has spoken the very thing that he didn't know I was praying silently. He's like, babe, I feel like we should do this. And I'm like sitting there like, I've been praying that, but I'm gonna let you feel like this is your idea. Even though this whole time I've been talking to God, like, God, speak to him, God, pour into him, God, help him see his fullest potential, and da 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 da. And then he's coming with joy, he's coming with this revelation. I'm like, thank you, God. See, a lot of us want to be right when the whole point is being righteous. The whole point is having a kingdom marriage. It's not about you being right. It's not about you saying, I told you so. It's about seeing your man of God be all that God has called him to be. And that requires you having a prayer life. That requires you knowing how to speak life. That requires you having discernment and knowing when to speak and when to pray. It requires a high level of emotional intelligence. It requires self-control. It requires gentleness. It requires being slow to speak. And so you want to get in your prayer closet and get in your prayer bag when it comes to your man of God. There shouldn't be a person on earth that pray more for your man than you do. And I'm not even talking about praying about fixing him, but women of God, we need to be praying over our husbands. God, open up your son's ears to hear you. Give him eyes to see you very clearly. Give him direction and vision, God. Sharpen his sight. Give him a hunger for your word. Give him a hunger for purity and for righteousness. We're not praying for our will to be done, but for God's will to be done in his son's life. Because when God's will is done in our husbands, when God's assignment is being fulfilled in our husband, we get the overflow of that. We think we know what we want our husbands to be, but God knows even more what you need from your husband. So let God do the work, and you let God do the work by making sure you are in your prayer bag concerning your man of God. Number 4, the power of the ask. It's very simple. Ask what he needs from you. A lot of women are giving what isn't even necessary. You are going above and beyond, and he actually might want you to fall back. This is something that I've quickly realized, where my love language is completely opposite of my husband's. So I was doing what I wanted to receive. I would want this, so I'm going to give this. But your husband might not have the same love language as you, and that is completely okay. He is his own human. He is his own being. So, baby girl, how about you just ask him, how can I love you properly? How can I make you feel seen? How can I make you feel respected? And let me tell you something about the power of the ask. Not only asking what he needs, but asking what he doesn't need. What do I do that makes you feel emasculated? What do I do that makes you feel like I don't trust you? What am I doing? What are my traits? What are my ways? I can tell you, my husband can drop in these comments. I have a weekly discussion asking him, hey, how have I been as a wife? Do you feel heard by me? Are you getting enough? Do you feel seen by me? Like, I'm asking these questions because I don't want to be a good wife in my eyes, but to you, I'm not fulfilling anything. And the only way I can know if I'm doing well is by asking my husband if I'm a good wife. So don't belittle the power of the ask. Stay curious, stay open to learning and to evolving and to growing as a woman. I know you think you a cold woman, and you are, and I'm not taking that away, because I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I was pretty fly before I even got all this growth that I have now. I was a great woman even at 21 and at 22 because I had a servant's heart. I desired to be pleasing to my husband, but I didn't want to just stop at what I thought was good enough. I wanted to hear it out of his mouth that, yes, you are doing the things that make me feel respected. Yes, I do feel seen in this marriage. Yes, I do feel loved. Yes, I am getting enough. I wanted to hear it out of his mouth. If in any moment it wasn't that, I corrected that. So stay open to being wrong. Stay open to being corrected. Stay open to not being the dopest wife that you thought you were going to be. Stay open to being corrected. And let me tell you something, just to add to this point. A lot of men, they don't necessarily complain as much as we do. We are very expressive. Can you do this? I wanted flowers. I want this. This is my favorite color. Can you start doing this? Baby, I like when you do this. Men don't typically talk as much as we do. And they're typically easier to please than we are. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with that. But men can sometimes not feel loved and respected and seen, but won't even express that to his lady because, let's be honest, she might be a wreck. She might be emotionally immature. Every time he brings something up, she's popping back out what he hasn't done for her. So he's chosen the route of just being quiet. And this is what I refuse to have, which is a unhappy, silent, emotionally absent husband. And let me also say this, I've had that. So I'm hyper aware of giving my husband space to speak, space to feel, space to correct me. And matter of fact, I'm not even going to wait for him to correct me. I'm going to ask him, is there any areas that he needs me to tighten up on, to sharpen in? I want you to get to a place where you are giving your man space to feel. And I want you to be okay okay with hearing that you might not be as a bomb of a wife as you thought you were. Instead of waiting for a big blow up or after he's cheated or after you've cheated, how about we start creating healthy conversations and we become emotionally mature enough to handle correction? Last but certainly not least, how I nurtured my husband's growth, but I did not create him, is I focused on my own growth. Too many of y'all are obsessed with your husbands. Don't get me wrong, I love mine, but he is absolutely not above God and he's not above myself. And I know a lot of y'all might be like, oh, no, it's supposed to be God, husband. It is God and you. Because if you put that man above yourself, you will be a insecure, not even having your own identity, not going after your own goals. It is not attractive for you to be obsessed with your husband. Everything is about him. You don't have your own life. You've given up on your goals. You aren't in your own essence. You aren't thriving in your own potential, who God has created you to be. A woman that is confident and walking in her purpose is a perfect setup to have a healthy man, because I am pouring into myself. I'm not pouring from an empty cup. I'm not waking up and just focusing on you immediately. I'm spending time with God and with myself. So when it's time to cook you breakfast, when it's time to ask you about your day, when it's time to sit with you and hear you and cater to you and serve you, I can, because I'm pouring from a full cup. And so I want to make sure, as you are dating and even in the beginning of your marriage, I know you're happy to be married, but don't make that man your entire life. So many women just lock in after they get married. They stop talking to their friends. They stop going out. They stop working out after they get the man. They stop going to the gym. Everybody's gaining weight. It's like, no, sis, stay stepping in the lane you were stepping in when you were dating him. He liked that about you. He liked that you were moving about and getting things done and going to get your nails and your toes done. He liked that. That was a turn on to him, to watch his woman in his own essence. Why? Because you're a happier woman when you pour into you. You are full. You are energized. You are full of joy. You're confident. You're secure. And that is a better setup for a healthy marriage. Again, you don't want to be so obsessed with his growth and his vision and giving and pouring that you neglect yourself. Because at the end of the day, now you've made him an idol. And when I tell you all idols disappoint, they do. So you don't want to set yourself up to idolize your husband. Focus on your personal growth. Stay reading those books. Stay taking yourself out. Stay in the gym. Learn more about yourself. Keep getting your hair done. Keep getting your nails done. Baby, I want you to elevate. I was just telling my husband, I'm just choo-choo on my own train. Little doo-doo. Baby, I look better than any year. The more I care about myself, the better wife I am. The more I lock into my business, my bag, my ministry, the gym, my body, my dream mind, my emotional state, the more I'm pouring into me, the better wife he gets. I'm telling you, it might sound backwards. If you are used to people pleasing and you are obsessed with men, you center men with your whole life, this can feel very polar opposite to getting a man. But I'm telling you, it attracts a better quality man when you care about yourself. And this is one of the biggest things that I did and what I still do till this day. I know I encourage my man to work out. I know I encourage my man to eat right. I know I encourage my man to get on his Zoom and be focused and be locked in. Why? Because I am. When he comes downstairs and he sees me editing, he sees me cleaning, he sees me, reading my word and getting in my bag and doing what I got to do, it encourages him to do the same thing. I'm not just sitting down here saying, yes, daddy, what do you need today? Hello, what would you need today? Hello, what would you like for dinner? Like, I am my own being, my own essence. I compliment him. I have complementary traits to him. I fill in the gaps that he needs, but I also motivate him to do better. And I want that for you. Okay. That is it. That is all. I hope this encouraged you more than anything, girl, to just stay locked in on your personal journey with the Lord and let the Lord bring forth your husband, but also to be very aware of when you possibly could be trying to create a man and not nurture what you already see. I want to know in the comments down below, which point do you feel like helped you out the most? Maybe it's all of them. Tell me where y'all are watching from, by the way. I always love seeing the states and just the girlies all over the world that are tapping with TK. I never take it for granted. I love y'all so much. Make sure you follow me everywhere to stay tapped in. Until next time, I will see you. Bye, girls.